Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our program. This is Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle. Today we have with us Peter Mehit with Custom Business Planning and Solutions. Welcome to the program, Peter.
Michael, great to be on. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. And just as a matter of getting us started and learning a little bit about yourself, tell us about your background. Tell us what got you into working with small business owners, and then also what got you focused on specifically leading off with and focusing on business plans.
Okay, that's a fabulous question. I started out in the oil industry years and years and years ago as an estimator and a project manager, and then I migrated into managing information technology operations for different companies. And then I got involved in high-value outsourcing for Computer Sciences Corporation. I traveled all over the world doing businesses that were doing deals that were between $100 million and $1 billion in size. And the thing about that job, I loved it to death. It was really interesting business, but I hated being on the road 20 days a month. So what I did was I said, I think I can bring this kind of expertise to a smaller market and bring, because all of the things that you need to do to figure out how you're going to operate a large-scale business can be scaled down to doing startups and essentially doing a transition of a business or an outsourcing of something from one business to another is literally like starting a business. So in 2004, I quit my job and I started Custom Business Planning and Solutions, and we've been running business plans ever since. Our primary customers, about 65% of our business, are people going to the bank for SBA loans, 7A and 504 loans. About another 15 to 20% are pure startups that are looking for angel or early round funding. And then the remainder of our business is we write business plans for venture capital and private equity firms, and we also do overflow due diligence for them. So the thing that really motivated me the most to move into my own business really had to do with I just was tired of constantly traveling.
Yeah.
But once I got involved in it, it's just been an amazing journey. We've worked in every possible vertical you can imagine, all kinds of different businesses, different deal sizes, different business sizes. It's been really a fantastic run.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a specific vertical, although that could crop up with having batches of clients that have needs in healthcare or restaurants, things like that. But a business plan is a business plan, and a marketing plan is a marketing plan. You're just applying it to different target audiences or applying it to different industries. So I think I think that your niche of helping the businesses that are looking to get those SBA loans or startup loans, what a huge opportunity that is that really impacts the infrastructure of our economy. I'm sure we could talk for quite a while on the statistics of the power of the small business in today's economy. But what do you see when a business comes to you and they literally know nothing? They just know enough that they need some help. And what do you do to counsel them about the process of going to looking at various types of loans, especially like the SBA loans?
Well, the first thing is it's rare that people actually start with the business planning process. Usually what happens is they go, how hard can it be? And, well, it can be go bankrupt, lose your house difficult. So that's why you need a business plan. And typically when people come in for bank funding, it's a checklist item in terms of, well, the underwriters need this or the bank officer needs this to be able to do this loan. But what we do with our clients is we want to make sure that they're grounded on their business and that they understand what they're getting into, because it's kind of like getting married. A lot of people focus on their wedding day, getting open for a business owner, their wedding day. It's like, I want to have a good wedding. I want this to be perfect. But that wedding day is one day. The marriage is the rest of your life. And businesses are the same way. They require the same level of commitment. So we work a process where it's a workshop-based approach, and we make sure that they understand their revenue models, where their revenue streams are coming from, the unit cost buildup of how their pricing is done so that they make sure that they charge enough for their products, what their expenses are going to be, and how they're going to run the business, so that it's more than, okay, you're going to get funded. Because if they can do that clearly, then they're going to get the loan from the bank. That's not really the issue. I'm more afraid they're going to get the loan from the bank and not know what they're doing.
And not know what to do with it from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it makes me think of the ready, fire, aim concept. A lot of people just want to run, sprint, and get her done. But in reality, you're not going in the right direction because you don't know enough about your business, your foundation, your capabilities, or whatever you want to think of it. You got to lay that foundation first. And isn't it also like the old saying that you hear, if you had 4 hours to cut down a tree, you'd spend the first hour sharpening your axe?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, too, that happens, too, is, unfortunately, the banks now have moved away from looking at or even requiring them to people coming in to have business plans, and they're looking and they're doing credit-scored products, right? So right now there's an SBA product where I can go out and get $250,000 to start a business, and it's totally based on whether I'm willing to sign my house up as collateral and I have a good credit score. And so we get a lot of people coming in, they're already started in business. Because another part of our business is helping people straighten stuff out when they get in trouble. They're already in business, and they've got these loan payments, and they've got payroll in some cases, and they're saying, oh, my goodness, this isn't what I thought it would be. It's not going the direction that I thought it would go. And so that's even more why you should do it, because the banks, in a way now, especially the larger banks, are really facilitating you being able to get started in business based on your credit rating. And that's not really the qualification that should be driving whether you get into business or not. What should be driving whether you get into business is how much fire you have in your belly for what it is that you want to do. It's an overused thing about passion, but I'll tell you what, you're going to need something to carry you through the times the clients don't come through the door, the customers don't show up, the time that you invest in a product that doesn't sell. You're going to need some kind of real fire to keep you going through those tough times. And then the second thing is you've got a plan to understand how much capitalization you need, because that's the number one reason why people close, is they just flat run out of money. They just don't have any money to go on. And what a lot of people don't understand about getting money from banks is you can't go back. If you ask for $200,000 and you need $212,000, you can't go back for that $12,000. They're going to say, wow, you really mismanaged this. We want to call the loan today. And so the thing you don't want to happen is to have your nose 1 inch under the surface of the water. You still can't breathe. So that's why a plan is really important. It's a reason why you need to make the plan outsized, that you need to ask for more money than you think you're going to need, because you're probably going to need the money that you don't think you need. So,
isn't it just like what we see every week on Shark Tank? You hear the shark saying, hey, I don't think you asked for enough because you're going to need a credit line for inventory, and $500,000 is just going to get you started. What happens when orders come in and inventory constraints? And I think that really is something that one of the phrases you hear from Shark Tank is know your numbers. Well, if you don't know your customer acquisition cost or your numbers for even what you need capitalization wise, that is an indication of preparation. I think that's a really big takeaway.
Yeah. You bring up a really excellent point, is that what'll kill a business faster than anything is rapid success and not being able to scale. And we've seen this a lot of times. Somebody will come in, they'll have a really great idea. We had a guy who had a fast casual restaurant idea. He came in and we looked at it and he goes, well, I only need about $150,000 to start it, and then I can, I think it'll bootstrap really good. And I go, no, I think this is going to be off the hook. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to have to hire a second shift, and I think you're going to have to probably have twice as many supplies. And what you really need is about $1 million. You need $750,000 to $1 million. Get a line of credit, whether you draw that down or not. If we're wrong, you need to have that. And this particular client fought me and fought me and fought me on it. And finally, I said, okay, well, what are you going to do if you have to order this material and the products, and you don't have the credit to pay for it because you're a new business, so it's going to be cash on delivery. And finally, he listened to me. He opened. He hit it out of the park. He almost crashed having $1 million. And so the thing and that's a big theme on Shark Tank. How does this scale? How's it going to scale if it runs away? And people, if you're coming as an employee, the table's always been set for you. You come in, you do your job, and usually your job is one piece of the whole process. Yeah. Now, as the business owner, you've got the entire process. This is it. You're responsible for all of it. And you're setting the table. So some people are natural salespeople. Some people are charismatic. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them. I wish I was. But some people are charismatic, and they go out and they have these big successes, and then how do I get people to help me? How do I hire? Who do I need to hire? It's more than just money, you know. Is the space big enough? There's so many things that you have to get into perspective, and that's why my thinking about business plans have changed a lot. I don't care if you write a formal business plan, but I do want you to go through the rigor of visualizing the business to understand it, at least work out some pro forma financials so you understand your numbers so that you can speak intelligently. But more importantly, I know where I am in a month. If I've got a slow month, I know how many clients I've got to get before I'm in trouble. And so that will motivate me to get on the phone, to go out and get it to events, to go work my cases that I have, my proposals that are out. And if you've not done that discipline where you understand where your numbers are, you can sit there with your front doors open, fat, dumb, and happy, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, I can't pay the lease this month. What am I going to do?
Yeah, it's a huge point. And when you were describing that a second ago, you made me think of an old business quote that I've heard, which is build capacity in advance of demand.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And let's be practical too. Like your comment about at least think through and visualize what could happen, should happen, right? So think about, that doesn't mean you go hire 14 people for your fast casual dining place the day you open when you only really need 2. It means be prepared for it and the eventuality and say, okay, I might not need that $1 million, but I'm going to have the credit line available, and I might only use $500,000, but it's there if I need it. Or, you know what, I don't need to hire those 14 people right away, but when the time comes, I've got this agency right down the road that I've already chatted with, and they are ready to fill my shop with cooks and waiters, and they're just ready to go right now. And, I'm doing fine with doing my books right now, but probably in about 6 months, I've got the guy right now I've already talked to who's going to set me up on doing my bookkeeping. And I think that's that mindset of scaling, at least it doesn't catch you by surprise, because if it does, you're scrambling, and then that's when you make poor decisions.
Exactly. You make decisions when you are under stress. Human beings, their field of vision narrows, the ability to listen narrows, the ability to understand what the environment is telling you narrows. It goes way back if you understand how they do the anatomy or the decomposition of accidents. They go, the closer you get to the accident, the less you have the ability to think, to where eventually at some point you're going to stop thinking. You're not going to be able to think. And so your job is to push all the potential crises to as far to the horizon as you can. So all of your points, Mike, are exactly correct. It's what do I do? Not just how do I keep away from failure? What do I do if I have success? And knowing what those resources are that I've got to be able to tap and touch and access quickly so that I can maintain momentum. Because the number one thing in business is momentum. And momentum is nothing more than the accumulation of goodwill, energy, good feelings, people wanting to be a part of your business, wanting to be involved in your world and have your product in their life. Well, it takes a lot of freaking energy to get anything to move, to overcome inertia. So once you have momentum, you can't rest. And so this is one thing I want to point out to people about the entrepreneur's journey, that is probably the most important thing you're ever going to hear, is that you have to get good at not resting. You need to learn how to rest while you're in motion, because you're going to need to constantly keep moving, pushing, turning the dials, watching, monitoring, measuring. You're going to constantly need to be, you're going to have to love doing that. And all the successful people that I've ever met, if you take them out of that environment where they've got nothing to do, they can't handle it.
Yeah.
And so that's a good gut check for you if you're listening to this, right? And you're going, that doesn't sound like something I'd really like to do.
Then move on.
You need to find a business that's a lifestyle business that you can hire 17-year-old kids to run, and you can come in like a yogurt shop or something. But if you want something that's seriously scalable and growable, that's something that can turn into a 10 or 100 or a $1 billion business, then you need to be relentless. It needs to be really what your life is about and your focus. And if you do that, and if it is for you, it's the most amazing journey you can take in life. And America is great because America is the easiest country in the world to do it in.
Yep. Hey, so final question, getting back over to SBA loans. With the 7A guaranteed loan, what primary considerations, in addition to the typical like good character, management, capability, collateral, owner's equity, what are the primary considerations in the loan decision process that an entrepreneur has to be aware of in applying for one of these loans?
Well, the number one character, there's the 5 C's, which if I had to rattle them out, I can't, but I know them. Character, collateral, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but besides that, your background. Do you have the experience in the industry that you're trying to get a loan in? The SBA is death on that. So say I worked in an office all my life, and I was a mid-level manager, and now I want to break out and I want to start a French pastry shop. And they're going to say, "What do you know about doing French pastries?" You'll get DQ'd on that. So, if you're going to move into an industry that's different than what you're already in, then you need to either apprentice in that industry, learn about it, work in it, get a job in it for a while so that you know it. Because the likelihood of getting a loan, or you need to bring somebody into your business as one of the principals that has that experience. The experience is a big one. And then there's all kinds of moral turpitude things. You can't have a felony, and there's a lot of things down the road. But they're going to look at your character, how honest and forthright you are, and whether you have the experience. And those are things that are not on the application. Those are things that are going to come across in the interviews and every single contact that you have. Oh, and by the way, speaking of speed, when you're dealing with banks in particular, they can take all the time in the world to get to you when they want something, but when they ask you for something, you need to turn it around as quickly as possible. Then keep that velocity and that speed going so the deal gets done.
Yes, sense of urgency. You know what? I've got a private client that I work with that's in the environmental remediation field, and they get massive contracts in the range of $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 contracts, and they have said that many times that they will be told after they are awarded the contract, you guys came in just a little above what the other contracts were bid at. But we loved the fact that when we asked for something, we got it back quickly, and we know that we can count on you throughout the project that way.
Yeah, that's absolutely key. We are not the least expensive way to get a business plan written, but for example, we can turn around some pretty complex plans in 15 working days or less. We did a business plan in 24 hours for a client one time. We were on a deal book for $979 million that got done in 12 days. So the difference between the pros and the employees really boils down to how responsive they are and how well they listen. And so if you're working with the banks, it's like you want to be the most professional adult person in the room at all times.
Hey, on SBA loans, is it true that you have to have already been turned down by a conventional lender or a bank lender before going to SBA? Oh,
no, that's exactly what you don't want to have happen.
Okay.
Let me tell you something about banking. And banking is a small community in every city. All the bankers all know each other, because they basically, it's a musical chair thing where the business development officer will go from one bank to another.
Yeah.
All the banking underwriters all talk to each other. Some banks share an underwriter. They have outsourced underwriting. So the worst thing that can happen to you is that you go somewhere and you get turned down, especially for ridiculous reasons. No, you want to go in and you want to be, your first shot should be your best shot.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to be turned down, because every turn down you get you risk the fact that people talk and then they're going to go, well, why did this get turned down? And you might actually even get funded, but then the terms are going to shift and they're going to be less favorable to you and so on.
Yeah, great point. Hey, so to wrap us up, how can people learn more about you and your business? What's the best website and way to contact you?
Okay, 2 ways. Our website is www.custom, the word custom, CUSTOMBPS, boy, Paul, Sam.com for custom business planning and solutions. Or they can call me personally at 909-268-0940. That's my cell phone. I'll pick up and I'll talk to anybody. And I'd like to offer something to your listeners if I can be so bold.
Certainly.
If you call me or you go to our website and you go to our request for contact form and you say that you heard me on the show here today, I will give whoever does that a free copy of our book, Killer Business Plan. I'll give them a free e-copy of that book.
Excellent. That's a wonderful offer. Thank you. We learned some great tips and great points and strategies. So thank you for your time today on the interview, Peter.
Thanks, Mike. And it was great. And it was a pleasure to be on your show. It was fantastic. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.